Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take a moment and picture your life 10 years from now. Can you see it? Can you feel it? The truth is, your life a decade from now isn't a matter of luck, chance, or timing. It is the direct result of the decisions you make today. Every action, every choice, every commitment you honor or neglect will ripple through the years ahead. Too often, we wait for the perfect moment to decide, thinking that one day the path will become clear on its own. But here's the reality: the path doesn't appear out of nowhere. It is forged by the decisions we make, by the commitments we accept, and by the courage we summon to act when it's easier to wait. The decisions you make today are the foundation of your next decade. They are not just choices, they are declarations of who you will become. Consider this: small decisions may seem insignificant at the time, but day after day, choice after choice, they accumulate like drops of water forming a river that carves a canyon. The clarity you bring to your decisions, the discipline you bring to your actions, and the courage you bring to commit will define whether your next 10 years are filled with regret or with the life you've always imagined. Now is the time to decide. Not next week, not next month, not when circumstances feel perfect right now. Because every day you delay, you are building someone else's vision instead of your own. And it's not about making perfect decisions, it's about making decisive decisions and following through with relentless action. This is your moment. This is your decade. And the choices you make today will echo in your life for years to come. Every major achievement, every success story, every life transformed begins with a single decision. It is not the passing opportunities, the fleeting moments, or even the dreams we carry that define us. It is the choices we make when no one is watching, when the world is quiet, and when it seems like nothing is happening at all. Think for A, about the power contained in the word decision. It is a simple word, made up of a handful of letters, yet it carries with it the weight of destinies. Every decision you make is like a seed planted in the soil of your life. Some seeds grow into mighty trees, towering over challenges and providing shade for decades, while others, left untended, wither and disappear without leaving a trace. The question is not whether your decisions matter, they do, but whether you recognize their importance before it is too late. Many people drift through life waiting for circumstances to determine their direction. They hope for luck, they wait for perfect timing, and they look for external signals that will tell them which path to take. But here's the truth: luck rarely shows up on its own, and timing is rarely perfect. Life does not pause for hesitation, and opportunity does not wait for indecision. Your future, 10 years from now, is already being shaped by the decisions you make today. It is the everyday choices, the small ones that often feel inconsequential, that accumulate over time and determine whether your decade will be one of growth, success, and fulfillment, or frustration, regret, and stagnation. Consider for a moment the simplest, most ordinary choices you make. What time do you wake up in the morning? Do you invest that hour in reading, in learning, in planning, or do you allow it to slip away in distraction? How do you spend your money? Are you building assets, saving for the future, or are you surrendering control to fleeting pleasures that vanish as quickly as they appear? Whom do you choose to surround yourself with? Are they individuals who challenge you, inspire you, and hold you accountable, or are they voices that encourage you to settle for mediocrity and comfort? Each decision seems small, perhaps even irrelevant in the moment, yet each one carries a ripple effect that extends far beyond what you can see today. It is also critical to understand that decisions shape more than actions. They shape identity. When you choose courage over fear, discipline over comfort, and growth over stagnation, you are not just choosing a course of action, you are choosing the person you will become. Your character, your habits, your mindset, and ultimately the trajectory of your life are all reflections of the choices you make consistently over time. It is not a single monumental decision that defines you, but the pattern of small, deliberate choices that accumulate year after year, month after month, day after day. The seeds you plant today with intention and awareness grow into the forests of your future. And just as a forest cannot be built in a day, a life cannot be transformed in an instant. It is the decisions, repeated, refined, and acted upon, that construct the architecture of destiny. Many people underestimate the value of decisive action because they fear mistakes. They worry about making the wrong choice, missing the opportunity, or failing in some way. But here is the insight that separates those who live lives of significance from those who merely exist. There is no such thing as a perfect decision. Every choice carries risk, uncertainty, and the possibility of error. The key is not to wait for perfection, but to make thoughtful, deliberate, and courageous decisions, and then to commit to them fully. In the very act of deciding, you gain momentum. In the very act of committing, you shape your path. And even when the outcome is not exactly as you envisioned, the lessons you gain, the resilience you develop, and the clarity you achieve are far more valuable than hesitation ever could be. Think about the people who have achieved extraordinary success. What separates them from the crowd is not always talent, education, or circumstance. It is decisiveness. They choose their direction. They act on their priorities, and they refuse to allow indecision or doubt to dominate their lives. They understand that a single, deliberate decision can change the course of years, and that hesitation is often the greatest obstacle between them and the life they desire. Every decision, whether it is about career, relationships, health, or personal growth, carries the potential to compound into remarkable outcomes. The process is simple, yet profound. Decide, commit, act, and repeat. The compound effect of consistent, aligned decisions is what turns ordinary individuals into extraordinary achievers, and it is what converts potential into tangible reality. It is also essential to recognize the influence of delayed decisions. To procrastinate is to allow external circumstances, other people's choices, or random chance to dictate your life. Each day that you defer a decision is a day that you surrender control over your destiny. Indecision is not a neutral state. It is an active force that shapes your life in ways you may not intend. It allows inertia to govern your actions, letting the currents of life carry you wherever they may. But when you take responsibility for your choices, when you choose deliberately and consciously, you become the captain of your ship, the architect of your decade, and the author of your story. One of the most remarkable aspects of decision-making is that it is available to everyone. No matter your circumstances, background, or current situation, you possess the ability to decide. You may not control every factor, you may not predict every outcome, but you always control the choices you make in response. This is where empowerment lies. Your destiny is not a passive product of luck or circumstance, it is an active construction, built one decision at a time. And the earlier you begin, the stronger, more resilient, and more purposeful your life becomes. So, when you consider the next 10 years, ask yourself this: what decisions today will shape your tomorrow? What choices made consistently will define the course of your decade? It is not the grand gestures alone that determine your future. It is the cumulative effect of everyday decisions made with awareness, courage, and purpose. The path to greatness, fulfillment, and lasting impact is carved by deliberate decisions that align with your vision and values, and then brought to life through disciplined action. And finally, remember this: the most powerful thing you can do is choose to take ownership of your decisions. Accept that your life is the sum of the choices you make. Embrace the responsibility that comes with it, and commit to making each decision count. In that commitment lies the power to create a life of significance, purpose, and fulfillment, because every choice you make is a vote for the person you will become, the life you will live, and the legacy you will leave. Clarity is one of the most overlooked yet powerful forces in life. It is the lens through which every decision, every action, and every goal becomes sharper, more purposeful, and infinitely more effective. Without clarity, even the most determined efforts can be wasted, misdirected, or diluted by confusion. But when clarity enters the picture, it creates a kind of momentum, a natural, unstoppable force that propels you forward toward the life you envision. To understand the power of clarity, we must first recognize that human beings are inherently complex, often juggling countless desires, distractions, and influences. Every day we are bombarded with choices, messages, and opinions, and without a clear understanding of our own direction, we risk drifting aimlessly through life, pulled by currents we barely notice. Clarity is what cuts through the noise. It is the beacon that illuminates the path ahead, guiding you step by step toward your vision. Imagine for a moment driving a car through dense fog without a map or GPS. You press on, hoping to reach a destination, but every turn, every mile is uncertain. You may move, but progress is slow, cautious, and fraught with hesitation. Now imagine that the fog lifts, the road becomes visible, and you have a clear destination in mind. The difference is astonishing. Momentum builds naturally because the direction is unmistakable. You know where you are headed, and every action you take reinforces that direction. In life, clarity functions the same way. When you know what you want, why you want it, and how you plan to achieve it, the energy you expend is no longer wasted. It becomes purposeful, strategic, and compounded over time. Clarity begins with vision. Without a clear picture of where you want to go, decisions become reactive instead of proactive. You respond to circumstances rather than create your circumstances. You drift with events rather than direct them. But when you develop a clear vision, an understanding of what success looks like in your life, what your priorities are, and what matters most, you lay the groundwork for deliberate action. A clear vision transforms uncertainty into confidence. It allows you to evaluate opportunities, challenges, and choices based on whether they align with your objectives, and it helps you avoid distractions that might otherwise derail your progress. But vision alone is not enough. Clarity also requires a deep understanding of yourself, your strengths, weaknesses, values, and passions. Many people struggle not because they lack ability or opportunity, but because they lack self-awareness. They chase goals that do not resonate with who they truly are. They follow paths that satisfy others' expectations, and they become frustrated when results do not match effort. Clarity comes when you take the time to reflect on your unique gifts, your purpose, and the contributions only you can make in the world. When you understand yourself, your goals become not just external objectives, but internal imperatives that naturally drive you to take consistent action. One of the most transformative aspects of clarity is its ability to eliminate hesitation. Uncertainty breeds indecision, and indecision breeds stagnation. People often fail to act, not because they cannot act, but because they are unclear about what action is best. When the path is unclear, the mind generates endless what-ifs, doubts, and fears. Momentum stalls, progress slows, and frustration mounts. But when clarity is present, choices become obvious. The best course of action stands out, and taking it generates immediate feedback, learning, and forward movement. Each step reinforces confidence, strengthens resolve, and accelerates progress. Clarity also allows you to prioritize effectively. One of the greatest challenges in life is the temptation to spread energy thin across too many endeavors. People say yes to every opportunity, pursue every trend, and attempt to accomplish everything at once, believing that activity equals progress. But without clarity, activity is often motion without direction. It consumes time, energy, and resources while producing minimal results. When clarity is present, you can identify the few high-leverage actions that will have the most significant impact on your life. You focus your efforts on what matters most. And as a result, momentum naturally grows because energy is concentrated, not dispersed. Another critical aspect of clarity is that it reduces stress and fear. Uncertainty creates anxiety because it forces the mind to operate in a state of speculation and worry. When you are unclear about your goals or your path, every decision feels risky, every challenge feels overwhelming, and every setback feels catastrophic. But when clarity is present, stress diminishes. The mind knows the direction, the next step, and the ultimate objective. Obstacles are no longer threats. They become signals, lessons, and opportunities to adjust course. Fear is replaced by focus, and focus creates speed, efficiency, and momentum. Clarity is also the fuel for commitment. It is easy to commit to something when it is vague or abstract. A real commitment requires understanding the full scope of what you are undertaking. When you are clear about the outcomes you desire, the actions required, and the sacrifices necessary, commitment becomes natural and unwavering. You no longer rely on fleeting motivation, temporary inspiration, or external validation. Instead, your clarity sustains your persistence, even when obstacles arise or enthusiasm wanes. Momentum, once created, continues to build because your actions are grounded in purpose, not impulse. It is worth noting that clarity is not static. It evolves as you grow. Life is dynamic, circumstances change, and new information emerges constantly. Therefore, clarity must be refreshed regularly. Successful individuals do not achieve momentum once and then coast indefinitely. They continually refine their vision, reassess their priorities, and adjust their course based on new insights. This adaptability, anchored in clear purpose, ensures that momentum is sustained over years, rather than dissipating when conditions change. Each period of reflection, each adjustment, and each refinement strengthens the trajectory of their lives. The relationship between clarity and momentum is compounding. Early clarity produces small wins, and small wins create confidence, learning, and forward motion. As momentum builds, it becomes self-reinforcing. Action leads to results, results lead to insight, and insight leads to more decisive action. In this way, momentum becomes exponential. Without clarity, momentum is scattered and inconsistent. With clarity, it is focused and accelerating. The difference between these two states can be the difference between a life of struggle and a life of achievement. Clarity also impacts the quality of decisions, not just the speed. When you are clear about your values, vision, and priorities, decisions are no longer a guessing game. They are deliberate, informed, and aligned with long-term objectives. This alignment reduces regret, increases satisfaction, and maximizes the return on effort. When decisions are made without clarity, even the right actions may feel hollow or misaligned because the underlying purpose is obscured. Momentum generated without clarity can carry you forward temporarily, but it often leads to misdirection, wasted energy, and eventual frustration. Moreover, clarity helps in managing distractions and negative influences. In a world filled with noise, conflicting opinions, and competing priorities, it is easy to be swayed, to follow trends, or to chase other people's goals. Clarity acts as a filter. It allows you to distinguish between what is essential and what is trivial, between what is aligned with your purpose and what is merely tempting or convenient. This focus preserves energy, sharpens action, and accelerates the pace of progress. Momentum is rarely created in chaos. It is created in alignment, precision, and deliberate focus, all of which stem from clarity. Another profound effect of clarity is the ability to communicate purpose effectively. When you are clear about your vision and your goals, you inspire others, attract support, and create opportunities. People are drawn to those who know where they are going because clarity exudes confidence, competence, and direction. Relationships, partnerships, and resources often flow more easily when your purpose is unmistakable. Momentum is not built in isolation. It is strengthened through collaboration, mentorship, and influence, all of which are enhanced when clarity is present. Finally, clarity creates a sense of urgency and discipline. When you are uncertain, procrastination and delay creep in. When the path is unclear, the temptation to wait for perfect conditions becomes overwhelming. But when clarity is present, the next step is obvious, and the cost of inaction becomes clear. Urgency is generated naturally because the gap between where you are and where you want to be is well understood. Discipline follows because actions are not arbitrary. They are intentional, consistent, and aligned with the trajectory you have defined. This combination of urgency and discipline fuels momentum in ways that motivation alone never can. To summarize, clarity is not a luxury, nor is it a fleeting advantage. It is the engine of progress, the compass of purpose, and the accelerator of momentum. Vision without clarity is wishful thinking. Action without clarity is wasted energy. Decisions without clarity are shots in the dark. But when clarity is present, every effort becomes meaningful, every step produces results, and every action compounds toward the realization of your goals. Clarity transforms hesitation into decisiveness, uncertainty into confidence, and potential into reality. The momentum it creates is not dependent on circumstances, luck, or fleeting inspiration. It is generated from within, anchored in purpose, sustained by focus, and propelled by consistent, aligned action. It is the invisible force that turns small efforts into extraordinary outcomes and ensures that the life you are building today continues to accelerate toward the life you dream of tomorrow. Discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement. It is the quiet force that turns dreams into reality, goals into accomplishments, and potential into results. While talent, opportunity, and inspiration may open doors, it is discipline that ensures you walk through them consistently, day after day. Many people underestimate the value of discipline because it is neither glamorous nor immediately rewarding. It doesn't come with applause, recognition, or excitement. Yet, over time, discipline is the differentiator between those who merely aspire and those who actually achieve. It is the unseen work done in the shadows that ultimately produces the visible results everyone admires. To truly understand the role of discipline, we must first recognize that life does not reward good intentions alone. Everyone has moments of motivation, bursts of inspiration, and fleeting enthusiasm. But motivation is temporary and enthusiasm is inconsistent. Without discipline, these moments fizzle out, leaving behind unfulfilled plans, abandoned goals, and frustration. Discipline, however, is steady, reliable, and enduring. It ensures that action continues even when inspiration wanes, even when obstacles arise, and even when the results are not yet visible. Discipline is the foundation of habit. Our lives are composed of daily routines, small actions repeated over time. And these actions, repeated consistently, produce outcomes that compound in ways that can be extraordinary. Without discipline, habits are inconsistent, efforts are sporadic, and progress is erratic. But with discipline, habits become automatic, routines become predictable, and progress becomes inevitable. Consider the person who decides to invest in their health. Without discipline, exercise may happen occasionally, diet may be inconsistent, and results will be minimal. With discipline, exercise becomes a daily ritual, nutrition becomes a conscious choice, and over time, the body transforms. The same principle applies to every area of life, career, finances, relationships, personal growth. Discipline converts repeated effort into measurable progress, and measurable progress into achievement. Discipline is not about restriction, it is about freedom. Many people perceive discipline as a form of limitation, a denial of pleasure, or an imposition on their life. But true discipline is liberating because it allows you to take control of your actions, to govern your impulses, and to align your behavior with your goals. Freedom without discipline is chaos, and chaos rarely produces success. When you master discipline, you gain freedom from procrastination, from indecision, and from the consequences of inconsistency. You gain the ability to focus, prioritize, and execute with precision. It is paradoxical, but discipline, far from being a constraint, is the path to the highest level of autonomy and self-mastery. One of the most powerful aspects of discipline is its ability to sustain action in the face of adversity. Life is unpredictable, filled with challenges, setbacks, and obstacles. Motivation often fades when circumstances become difficult, and enthusiasm may wane when results are slow. Discipline, however, does not depend on circumstances. It is the commitment to act regardless of mood, environment, or external factors. It is the ability to continue the work even when it is inconvenient, uncomfortable, or challenging. Every moment you choose discipline over distraction, persistence over ease, and action over delay, you are reinforcing the foundation of your future success. This consistency compounds over time, producing results far greater than any burst of short-term effort ever could. Discipline is also the differentiator between intention and execution. Many people have brilliant ideas, ambitious goals, and visionary plans, yet without the discipline to execute those plans consistently, ideas remain ideas, goals remain dreams, and vision remains unrealized. Execution is where discipline becomes tangible. It is the willingness to do what must be done, even when it is not enjoyable, even when it feels tedious, and even when the results are not immediate. The most successful individuals are rarely those with the greatest talent. They are those who consistently do the things others avoid, who persist when others quit, and who prioritize long-term gains over short-term comfort. Discipline ensures that execution continues even when conditions are unfavorable, and that persistence outweighs procrastination. Discipline is closely tied to time management. Time is the most democratic resource. Everyone has the same 24 hours, yet the outcomes of how those hours are used vary dramatically. Without discipline, time is wasted, squandered on distractions, and surrendered to circumstances. With discipline, time becomes an ally, structured, prioritized, and leveraged for maximum impact. Those who master discipline use their hours deliberately, ensuring that every block of time contributes to their goals. They do not rely on bursts of inspiration or last-minute efforts. They build routines, create structure, and execute consistently, knowing that small, disciplined actions compounded over time lead to extraordinary results. Discipline also shapes mindset. The ability to delay gratification, resist temptation, and maintain focus is not just a skill, it is a mindset cultivated through repeated practice. Every act of discipline strengthens mental resilience, builds confidence, and reinforces the belief that you are capable of controlling your behavior and shaping your outcomes. This mindset becomes a self-reinforcing cycle. Disciplined actions strengthen belief. Belief reinforces persistence, and persistence produces results that further validate the power of discipline. Over time, this creates a life where challenges are approached with confidence, setbacks are faced with resilience, and goals are pursued with unwavering determination. Discipline is intimately connected with personal integrity. It is the alignment between what you say, what you believe, and what you do. Without discipline, there is often a gap between intention and action, between promise and fulfillment. This gap erodes self-respect, undermines confidence, and diminishes influence. With discipline, words are matched by actions. Commitments are honored and character is reinforced. The consistent practice of discipline in daily life builds a reputation for reliability, trustworthiness, and accountability qualities that open doors, create opportunities, and attract support. Momentum in life is rarely built on talent alone. It is built on the credibility and trust that disciplined action creates. Discipline also enables mastery. No skill, talent, or craft can be developed without repeated, focused effort over time. Practice without discipline is inconsistent and ineffective. Discipline ensures that learning, practice, and refinement occur regularly, leading to gradual but undeniable improvement. Mastery is rarely a result of inspiration. It is a result of disciplined, incremental progress. Whether it is in business, art, sports, or personal development, the individual who demonstrates discipline consistently outperforms those who rely on talent alone. It is the quiet daily commitment to improvement that separates the extraordinary from the average. Another critical aspect of discipline is its role in overcoming procrastination. Procrastination is the enemy of progress. It masquerades as a harmless delay but compounds over time into missed opportunities, regret, and stagnation. Discipline counters procrastination by creating structure, commitment, and accountability. It is the ability to start, to continue, and to finish tasks even when resistance is strong. The act of doing, powered by discipline, generates momentum, reinforces confidence, and produces results that encourage further action. Overcoming procrastination is not about motivation. It is about building the discipline to act consistently, regardless of how you feel in the moment. Discipline also plays a central role in resilience. Life will challenge you. Obstacles, failures, and setbacks are inevitable. Motivation may falter in the face of difficulty, and inspiration may wane when results are slow. Discipline ensures that you persist. It gives you the strength to keep moving forward even when circumstances are unfavorable, and the courage to maintain effort when progress seems invisible. Resilience built through discipline is a superpower, allowing you to navigate adversity without losing focus and ensuring that temporary setbacks do not become permanent failures. Moreover, discipline is contagious. The commitment, consistency, and reliability that discipline fosters influence others. In relationships, teams, and communities, disciplined individuals inspire action, establish standards, and create cultures of accountability. Momentum is not only an individual force, it multiplies when shared with others who are aligned, committed, and disciplined. People are drawn to those who demonstrate focus, reliability, and purpose because discipline is a visible signal of competence, integrity, and determination. Finally, discipline is the long-term multiplier of success. Motivation, inspiration, and opportunity are powerful, but fleeting. Discipline is sustainable. It does not depend on external conditions or temporary feelings. It compounds over time, producing results that are disproportionate to the immediate effort. The difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who only dream lies in this sustained application of discipline. It is the daily choices, the repeated actions, and the unwavering commitment that over months and years determine the trajectory of your life. Discipline ensures that you move steadily toward your goals even when immediate rewards are absent, and that the momentum you create is not momentary but enduring.